me go ahead and quickly share my screen with you. Take me just one moment. And I promise not to bore you with too many PowerPoint slides, but it is a real pleasure for me to be with you all today. I wanted to say at the outset that when I looked at the list of all of the organizations and companies that would be presenting, I was happy to find that the Organization for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons in Latin America and the Caribbean, that's a mouthful, it's a very long name, otherwise known as OPENAL, is also presenting this week during the job fair. That was where I had my first job right out of graduate school in Mexico City back in 1998. So I'm very happy to see that they are still out looking for interns and trainees. It's a wonderful organization. So moving on to the next slide here, let me just tell you that we are on social media, and I know that there is a social media contest going on in association with the job fair this week. So I want to encourage all of you to follow us at Kudo Way on Twitter, and you can follow my personal Twitter account as well, as you can see there on the screen. We are also quite active on LinkedIn. So if you're looking for more information about our activities, it's a great place to go to find out more. Our story. Kudo was established in 2017 as a company to take multilingual meetings virtual. And our founder, Fardad Zabadian, moved to New York City a few years prior after one of his other companies won the bid to actually upgrade and renovate all of the simultaneous interpretation equipment at the United Nations headquarters in New York. And that's why our HQ is located in New York City today in Manhattan. Our vision at Kudo is to remove language barriers for organizations globally. That is what we are seeking to do, to be able to help people communicate across languages and do so as seamlessly as possible. We do this with our platform that resides completely in the cloud and basically recreates a multilingual conferencing room virtually. Now, some of you may be wondering, Kudo, where did that name come from? Well, let me just quickly say that when the founders created the company in 2017, they were looking for a good name that would represent that you could be anywhere or everywhere. And they thought about going to French, and they looked at that and they said partout, which was a nice name. It was catchy, but French isn't pronounced like it's spelled. And so many people would see that and they would think partout, they wouldn't know how to pronounce it. And so they started to look for other names. And they came upon Kudo, which is Albanian for everywhere. And so that's how we ended up with the name Kudo today. Our solution is cloud-based, as I said, and we make it possible for video conferencing rooms, smart devices, computers, any web conferencing endpoint can connect to the Kudo virtual multilingual conference rooms to be able to participate in conferences. And we use professional human interpreters on our platform. We provide the technology. We do have a database of interpreters, but our technology is what we focus on mainly. Many organizations, you'll see a list here in just a minute of some of our clients, use their own interpreters to be able to provide this service. But we work together with professional conference interpreters to be able to provide this service in the cloud. We are working with artificial intelligence to be able to assist interpreters and meeting attendees. We don't see artificial intelligence replacing human interpreters anytime soon at all. We also integrate with existing web conferencing platforms. We have done a number of integrations with many of the monolingual conferencing platforms that are out there. Here are some examples of our products. So The multilingual web conferencing, which is what you're probably most familiar with today because of the pandemic and the lockdown measures that have been in place the world over, those have forced organizations to continue their business online. And so many organizations and companies have to work in multiple languages. Therefore, multilingual web conferencing is very popular today. But we also are able to use our technology for live face-to-face events, where in addition to having access to a traditional receiver to listen to an interpretation, you can also use your smart device and receive video, audio, and also participate in polling. I'll just mention quickly that we have over 6,000 interpreters that have gone through our onboarding training so that they know how to use the platform, and that number is increasing on a daily basis, and we have interpreters in over 80 countries that have learned how to use the Kudo platform. Some of the technologies quickly. We are GDPR compliant, and we take data privacy and data protection very seriously. We are also inclusive. In addition to providing spoken languages, we also provide sign language support. So if you need to provide sign language on the platform, that is something that's very easy to do as well. We provide end-to-end encryption for data in transit and also at rest. And currently we are functioning in browser, which means you do not have to download any software and install it on your computer. We are going to be introducing some new features, including transcription and captioning, and audio fallback is something we introduced last year because if you can't hear one another, it doesn't matter how good the video looks. You can't hold your meeting. Use cases are very different, and they range from small, very interactive meetings like board meetings, client meetings, to webinars like we have today, where we've got over, I believe, 150 people who are in attendance. So there are many different things out there. Some of our success stories: we worked with Etsy recently to provide simultaneous interpretation in English, German, and French. Also, a product launch that was worldwide in 9 languages in 20 countries, all simultaneously on the Kudo platform. And a couple of big ones that we did in the last year were the F8 conference with Facebook and keynote addresses for Amazon Web Services in 4 languages concurrently with more than 4,000 viewers. I'll show you a quick video so you can see what it was like at the F8 conference. Ooh, and to do that, I actually need to quickly turn off the share and then redo it so that you can actually see the video and audio. So give me just one moment as I find my cursor, which has suddenly hidden from me. There it is. And I will click share audio and the video, and we'll go back to PowerPoint slideshow. And if all goes well and I have done what I should, you should now be able to see the video.
This
is one of the first languages.
So the basic idea here is that, in all of our lives, we have for the last 15 years or so, we've focused on building Facebook and Instagram into the digital.
Des équivalents numériques pour Facebook et Instagram de ces places publiques, vous savez, où vous pouvez rencontrer plein de personnes en même temps. Internet nous donne la possibilité de nous connecter.
Die Fähigkeit, mit der ganzen Welt uns zu verbinden. Das hat uns die Möglichkeit gegeben, über geografische Grenzen hinaus zu gehen.
So as you can see, the reason for this was to allow the developers that are working on the Facebook platform around the world access directly to these live keynote addresses that originated from California. On the screen now, you're going to see a list of some of our clients that are holding multilingual meetings on the Kudo platform today. And that is growing as time goes on. And we are very excited to work with these organizations to help them fulfill their mission. I've mentioned the whole issue of multilingualism and inclusion. It is in our DNA, as we like to say. We understand the importance of multilingualism, not only in the European Union, but in other places as well, and the importance of inclusion so that those who are deaf or hard of hearing can also participate actively in virtual multilingual meetings. So that is the Kudo platform in a nutshell for you. I hope that that was helpful. Let me just finally say that we are hiring in the EU now. You can go to kudoway.com, go to About, and select Careers to take you to our list of open positions that we do have at the moment. So I'm going to stop there and open it up for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Olsen, very much. I believe it was a very informative presentation for our trainees. Okay, right now, go to the questions. The first one is the Kudo training for interpreters free, or does it require payment?
The onboarding available right now for interpreters is free of charge. You can sign up for the training. It is a self-paced platform. And again, that's available on our website. If you go to our resources, you'll find the trainings, and we have one for interpreters and one also for the operators that are hosting these multilingual meetings. So it is available for free.
Thank you very much. The second question is, the conference interpreters that are working for you, do they work on a freelance basis? And moreover, do you welcome at your database interpreters working with all language combinations or only the combinations mentioned in your presentation?
Okay, great questions. First of all, any professional conference interpreter is welcome to go through the training and open up a profile in our private database. Let me explain why we have a private database. One, as I said before, we take data protection very seriously and data privacy. So an interpreter can create a profile, but that is not publicly available for people to come and search. If an interpreter so chooses, he or she can make the profile available to others and share the link to their profile with their clients. Kudo is not an interpreting agency. Kudo is a language as a service platform or a cloud platform. And so all of the interpreters that we do work with are freelancers. There are a number of reasons for this. One, we did not set out to be staffing meetings on our platform, but we learned very quickly that there was a need for that. And so to help some of our clients, we actually do staff meetings and provide interpreters, and our main source is that database. But you can share your profile with your clients so they can see what you're capable of, and also that you have gone through the Kudo onboarding so that you know how to work on the platform. And any language combination is welcome. We are looking to provide interpreters of all language combinations the opportunity to find work.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a few more questions. Is there any specific background, academic or professional, you are looking for?
That's a great question as well. Often when we talk about multilingual meetings, we end up talking a lot about conference interpreters and interpreting, but that is only one aspect of what we do. For the permanent positions that we have available right now for full-time employment, these positions are in sales. They are also in client success, which is my department, where we are working with the clients directly to help them learn the platform and to organize meetings successfully so that they can carry out their mission. So if you love working with other organizations to help them be successful as they organize their meetings, as they plan their meetings, and as they transition to a cloud-based multilingual platform, then you're the kind of candidate that we are looking for. The opportunities in business development as well. This is where you should be good at putting together proposals, creating quotes, helping clients understand the different packages that are available so that they can sign up and get holding their meetings really as fast as possible on the platform. Oh, I should also mention just quickly, we all are also looking for people with technical skills to join our development team. And so there's a wide range of opportunities right now at the company.
Yes, thank you very much. And also, could you talk more about the specific responsibilities of the customer success managers? I believe you mentioned some, but maybe you could proceed more.
Mm-hmm. So the customer success managers work directly with some of our largest clients, basically to help them be successful in their use of the platform. That will include at the beginning, onboarding them, making sure that they understand how the platform works, all of the interfaces that they need, because it's a multilingual meeting. If any of you have worked in any aspect of any of the multilingual meetings held at the European Parliament or at the Commission, you know that a lot of work goes into planning those meetings. And that planning doesn't disappear once you move online. So as a client success manager, you will work directly with the different clients that we have to help them transition to these multilingual online meetings, help them understand the platform, understand how to create the meetings, and also if there are glitches or problems, well, we learn about those, we take those back to the development team, and we help the development team find solutions to the problems and the bugs that we have. And it's an ongoing process. Every week we discover something that we need to adjust, or perhaps a client is going to request a new feature. The client success manager is going to get that down and make sure it gets transmitted to the correct people on the team so that we can move forward if that's a feature we decide to include.
Thank you very much. I believe we kind of answered. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see we have another question. Are there any positions open in the EU right now?
Yes, there are. In fact, our EU team is growing and we are hiring in the EU. Currently, we have people working out of France, the UK, Switzerland, and Belgium. Oh, and I forgot also, we have, oh goodness, I believe we also have some people from our dev team who are working in Romania.
Okay, thank you. Good to know. And also one last question we have. Do you also hire translators? Because you've been talking about interpreters, but yeah, what about translators?
We do not have any staff translators. However, our development team does work with translators and localizers to localize the interface into multiple languages. In our interface, you actually can go in and change the language on the fly to the language of your preference. Currently, it's available in 8 different languages. And as we are constantly updating and adding languages, we are hiring translators to be able to translate our website and to localize our meeting interface into more languages.
Okay, thank you very much. I see that we have a few more questions. Are you hiring, oh sorry, the one was, do you have a QA team?
Yes, there is a QA team. They're actually working within the product development and also the dev team. So yes, there are people that are working on the QA team there.
Thank you. Now we have, are you hiring legal practitioners across Europe?
Now, legal practitioners, I'm not sure what you mean there, if you're looking for lawyers or people that are working in the legal space. We currently are not hiring people that work with legal. Any of the legal work that has to be done is usually covered by one of our founders who is a practicing attorney. and anything else I would assume would likely be contracted out.
And we also have another question, that is, what kind of functions do you use artificial intelligence for?
AI is being explored to assist interpreters in preparation for meetings so that we can make sure that they get information sooner and in a very expeditious manner. Additionally, we are looking at ways of using voice recognition and speech to text to be able to provide things like proper names and numbers and vocabulary to the interpreters in real time. So that's a project that we were working on quite a bit before COVID. As COVID kicked off, as it started, we really have had to shift our focus because we experimented some pretty significant growth month over month, and we're just trying to keep on top of that and make sure that we have excellent service for our current clients, which that group is growing a lot. So we are continuing to work on that, but it is not as high on the priority list as it was, say, in January of this year.
Thank you. And a few more last questions. I believe we have missed one, so I really want to ask you, how do your interpreters work? Do they sit in the same booth during the interpreting session, or is every one of them at their own office? If yes, does this impact cooperation in the booth?
Okay, great question. Again, I'm going to share a slide with you that I'd like you to see. So this is going to show you our current network. There may be a couple of studios that aren't on there, may not be completely up to date, but we, before COVID, were focusing on expanding a network of Kudo certified studios where the interpreters would be working in ISO standard conditions in a booth, where they would be co-located physically, and they would have a technician who would be there to make sure that everything functioned the way it was supposed to. Unfortunately, because of the lockdown measures around the world, there are very few places where interpreters can actually work physically in the same space at the moment. And so for the time being, the interpreters that are working on the platform are working individually from their homes or their home offices, and we are adjusting as we can so that they are able to work in teams of 2 and 3, or in larger teams if you have multiple languages, as successfully as possible. But given the fact that they are physically separated one from another, that does create additional complications when it comes time to cooperating and to handing off the microphone from one interpreter to another when it's time to switch. We have included, and I'll show you another slide here quickly, this is a slide of the interpreter interface. And you'll see that we have modeled it after an existing interpreter console where you have outgoing channels and incoming channels. And we also have a button over here, which is the request to switch button that helps smooth out the switch between the interpreters. We are also working on providing the non-active interpreter with a mix of the audio from the floor and from their partner who is interpreting, so that they can coordinate the switch even better. That's something that's going to be introduced in the coming weeks, and our dev team is just about finished with that feature. So the short answer to your question is people are working from home because they have to. We look forward to moving back to the studio model as soon as we can.
Okay, and to wrap it up, we have 2 more questions because I believe trainees are really interested in this presentation. That's why we have a lot of them.
Fabulous.
So are there any southern countries that are hiring? For example, Spain, Italy, Portugal, or Greece? And also, are EU positions specific for EU companies or same as the US position?
Okay, so the positions that are currently available are the same regardless of whether you're in the United States or the EU. Right now we are hiring, and these are virtual positions. So as long as you have a good place where you can work from with dependable broadband internet, you're going to be able to do this job. Our offices currently, our physical offices, are located in New York City and in Oakland, California, just across the bay from San Francisco. And our sister companies have physical offices in Europe as well. But right now, you have the ability to live where you want in the EU and work for Kudo. And so these are virtual positions, and I think that that would make them actually quite attractive.
And one last one we have. Do you believe Kudo will sustain its growth after the end of the pandemic?
Yes, I do. There will be shifts. One of the things that has become very clear, I've been on a number of meetings with the meetings, incentives, conferences, and oh goodness, I can't remember what the E stands for in MICE. I'm forgetting right off the top of my head, but the conferencing industry, the private sector, and also for large international organizations. We will not be returning to the normal pre-pandemic. There will be a new normal. That new normal is going to mean that there will be fully virtual multilingual meetings, and they will continue after the pandemic is over. Their number will likely reduce, but what we are going to see, and we're seeing it now, is the rise of the hybrid meeting, where there will be some attendees that will be in a conference room in Strasbourg or in Brussels or in Geneva or in Vienna, but many of the other participants will not be able to travel to those physical venues, and they will participate in those meetings virtually, and they will need interpretation, and they will need to speak in their chosen tongue, and the interpreters will need to interpret them, whether on site or remote themselves. So what we are going to see is more types of meetings, not just the traditional meeting that we think about when we think of what has been done in Strasbourg or in Brussels. There are going to be hybrid meetings, fully virtual meetings, and face-to-face meetings. So there you go.
Thank you. Apparently, we don't want to let you go just now. We have one last question. That is, the interpreters that are working from home, what kind of equipment do they need? Is the equipment provided by Kudo?
The equipment is not provided by Kudo. However, we do provide guidance on the kind of equipment that you need to have to be able to connect. We have literature that we provide to interpreters that are interested in working on the Kudo platform, and much of this is explained in the onboarding training that I spoke to you about previously that's available online as a self-paced course. But in a few words, you need to have a good quality headset. You need to have a computer and that has sufficient RAM. We recommend at least 8 gig of RAM. 16 is better. A Core i5 processor is acceptable. A Core i7 processor, if you're using a PC, is better. You can work with Mac. You can work with PC. And it's important that you have a place where you can work without interruption and without noise as an interpreter. So I'm working from my home office, which allows me to have those conditions that I need to be able to interpret. As an interpreter, you don't need a good webcam because you don't appear as a simultaneous interpreter on the meetings.
Thank you very much. I believe this was a very great discussion that we have here. Thank you for your deep insights, Mr. Olsen. And I shall call the end of our first day of the EU Virtual Job Fair. I would like to wish everyone to have a great evening. For Mr. Olsen, I wish a great day. And then, well, I think I see you guys tomorrow then.
All right. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much. If you have questions, you can follow up on our website, and please do check out our vacancy announcements that we have right now. And I hope to see all of you on Kudo at some point. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.